Hello, and welcome to Synchropath. Today, we're gearing up for some really, really intense energy in the sky because today is the day that Mars moves into the sign of Aquarius, where it is about to conjunct Pluto in the next few days. This is really, really high tension, big energy because for those who don't already know, Mars is literally the god of war. Mars is what represents anger, it represents passion and fire and energy, like just the burning desire or burning feeling. And Pluto is the planet of deep dramatic transformation and, death, sex, rebirth. It's all of these things. And is associated very, very heavily with revolutionary energy. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the American Revolution, the French Revolution. It's that kind of energy. And if you're not already feeling it, you're not paying attention. So I'm wearing what I'm wearing today because of the energy. Okay. I'm wearing a heart because this is what it's about. In my mind, we all have Mars, and it's good and bad for different reasons. Good and bad. Actually, I don't even want to use the words good and bad. It just is, but it exists to be in balance with these other energies that we have. And to me, certain forms of anger or passion or just like deep dramatic energy and like transformational change is, anger can be, and oftentimes is, love saying, I deserve more, or this person or this thing deserves more. We deserve more. And that's why I'm wearing this today. So let's get into it. So today, yes, not only do we have Mars moving into Aquarius, it already is by the time I'm making this video, but also, oh my God, what was that? Oh, something shifted and it scared the shit out of me. Okay, anyway, so what was I saying? Mars is moving into Aquarius, and also today, Mercury is still conjunct Pluto for most of the day. So that means, deeply transformative conversation and communication. There's a lot happening out in the world. I mean, just yesterday, was it yesterday? The Davos Summit occurred, and I don't know if we weren't already a laughingstock for the rest of the world. We sure are now. I mean, we were and we have been, but we definitely are now, because if you've watched any of the speeches given by our leadership there, it was a train wreck. I want to clarify that I think the entire system needs to be reformed. I'm not affiliated with one party. I am just pro sense, okay? And decency, human decency. So anyway, without getting into too much of that, which I intend to on my channel address those things, but we're just going to get into the synchronicities for the day because that's why we're here. So I'm going to do it the way that I always do it. I'm going to start it with flipping open to a random page. I'm going to start with this book called Revelations in Air. This is a book about smells, and I really love it. It's like, I've never thought about smell this way. I feel like I have a bad nose. Like I just don't have a great sense of smell. Okay, the first page I open to is Bacon. Page number, there's not a page, 71. Okay, so I'm just going to read to a random part. Bacon smells are kinetic. They're spun dizzily into motion only with the application of heat. Heat is very Martian. As skillets warm, a succession of smells layer over themselves in an ever-deepening bower. The smell holds the promise of good pork, its fatsful robound. Wow, I can't talk. The smell holds the promise of good pork and fatsful rounded savor. Can I read today? It's sweet, syrupy, crystalline. It pings satisfyingly with brine. You might catch a whiff of smoke edging the smell delicately. One sniffs for that note constantly, checking for imminent burn. It's multisensory, this smell, impossible to extricate from the action inside the pan. You're both watching and hearing the smell. develop. A smell with a tangible nimbus above the pan. Micro droplets of spitting grease. As the skillet warms, the bacon's edges lift and curl as if alive. Then its strips sweat profusely. Then the strips sweat profusely. My gosh. Excuse me. I need a drink. Wow. I don't know what's happening to me right now. This is just gonna be what it is. This is really interesting. As someone who normally does not care for bacon, I guess, unless it's like on a BLT, I think that's like the one instance that I'm like, oh, that sounds good. This is making me want bacon. Let's see. The bacon's edges lift and curl as if alive. Then the strips sweat profusely, releasing an amber lake of hot grease. Then they shrink as they brown, and all the while, smell after smell arcs upwards and casts a hazy afterglow that lingers throughout the house after the burners are switched off. Okay, so I find this really interesting, this very, very descriptive description of cooking bacon with heat and how it curls and how it transforms under heat and how you can smell it. I'm getting where there's smoke, there's fire. They mention the imminent burn. And that's kind of part of the bacon thing, right? Like you don't want to burn it, but a crispy bacon is preferred most of the time. You want it to crisp and interesting. Okay, don't reach too far, Sarah, but I find that really interesting. I don't know, and I'm not like anti-meat eating, but I'm not really pro it either. I kind of just eat it when it's presented to me, but I think the world would be a lot better with less of it. But like this is, I don't know. Let's find out where else this goes. I don't know if I should post this one. I feel like a crazy person today. Okay, so I'm going to open to a random poem, a little bit in this Call Me By My True Names book by, I don't know how to say this poet's name. I know I should because I know this poet is everywhere, this writer is everywhere, but I don't. So opening to a random page, 224. Daybreak does not resemble a new page in a book. It is a symphony to rebirth, with its full array of sounds and colors. Each dawn is an ode to 24 brand new hours. It is a symphony to rebirth, with its full array of sounds and colors. This reminds me of what it was just talking about with all the notes that happen and rise up with frying bacon. Okay. I don't need to put all those pieces together right now. Let's just get into it. And if I didn't mention before, with these planets being in Aquarius, as I talked about before, and you probably heard before, Aquarius represents the deep, dramatic, revolutionary change. It's very forward-thinking. It's very collective-minded. It is kind of the sign of the collective consciousness, if not Pisces. I think could also have to do with that. But Aquarius is very much us together and advancement of things, and it might be a messy process and is likely to be, but does it have to anyway, let's get into it. So I'm just going to draw 3 cards from this Kim Curran's Archetypes deck. This first thing I drew was the village. Okay, that's like just what we were talking about, this Aquarian energy, the village, the whole. Interesting. It's like a hand drawing a circle, a ring, in some field next to this mountain, the shadowy mountain. Okay. So far we got bacon, and we've got daybreak in the notes of day. Okay. The river in reverse. This is upright, but The river in reverse. I'm thinking of water being very emotional. The river running. Actually, all week long I've been singing. I should know who sings this song. But I was born in the river. No, not in the river. I was born by the river. I'm looking it up. Lyrics. I need to see this really quick. Okay. It's by Sam Cooke, and I should know that. And I knew that, but I didn't know it in the moment. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. So this song is all about, you know, the suffering that so many people, especially Native Americans, but African American, oh my God, I cannot talk today. The struggle African Americans have had to deal with for as long as this country has existed, and the systems that we've built that have perpetuated this. I actually want to finish reading the rest of those lyrics because that song is so beautiful and I feel like it's so fitting right now. I really have been singing this all week long. So I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die because I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown and somebody keep telling me don't hang around. Gosh, this is going to make me cry right now with everything that's happening. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me, please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. There's been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. So that's beautiful, and that's what that card reminded me of. The village, the river reverse, and when I think of it being in reverse, I don't always say reverse or think about it, but I noticed it was in reverse, and that's like kind of like this deep, heavy, emotional state, right? So I'm thinking of the village in this deep, heavy, emotional state, and then we have here the ocean, which is another giant body of water that just nourishes the whole planet. The ocean. I like this card too because there's like this eye in the ocean. It's like a seeing and understanding, an acknowledgement of this deep, deep blue feeling. One that could flood the world, right? Like the oceans are more unexplored. Like, I don't know. Bear with me today because my brain's just not really, but it is, but maybe it's my words are less. But I'm not doing the talking here, the synchronicity is. So on to this next deck, Alchemy deck by Kim Kranz also. Okay, 3 cards from here. It's been a long time coming. Ooh, I love this. Okay. So this first card I'm pulling is Venus. Venus is the planet of love, is the planet of love. It is the planet of beauty. And, you know, rules the sign of Libra, of justice and liberty. It usually is associated with this light blue color, traditionally. You know, you think of the goddess Venus, and she's born in this, like, she's depicted in this giant clamshell with a pearl, or as the pearl. And this little thing right here, Also looks a little yonic, to be honest. Looks like the world to me. And it's like just reaching for this world, the birth of this new world. This is where my mind's been. So I don't know if this is where everyone else is at, but this is what I'm picking up. Okay. Let's do another. Here I see summer and I notice it in reverse. This big, beautiful tree in the reverse. When I think of summer in the reverse, I think of like, I mean, just obviously the winter, but like getting ready for that summer again, where this life is waiting, hidden under the ground. Just requires some sunshine and watering. I noticed this red dot in the center of this card as well, which I find really interesting. Is red is associated with the planet Mars, is associated with passion, heat, presence. I need to be better at knowing my chakras. I can't remember which chakra that is. Maybe I should look it up. I'm feeling like I should look that up. I was born by the river. Chakras. Okay. Yeah, is that base? The base. The I am. Oh, that makes so much sense because I am. Oh. Yeah, so the red chakra is basically at your base where like your pelvic bone is. And it's the root chakra, and it is the I am chakra where you feel rooted. Interesting. This also looks like roots in the upside down. I'm just talking about that. That light blue Venusian color I was talking about is associated with the throat chakra, actually. Which, what was I just looking at with that? I speak. I am and I speak, which is very, very in tune with this Martian energy coming into this Pluto and Mercury conjunction, where we're like, okay, we're fully present with the rest of our mind in this sign of Aquarius now, where Pluto has been living. There's a lot of power and energy here, and this is a time to speak up, to use our voices, and it matters on every level, right? Like, it doesn't matter how many followers we have. Just imagine if everybody spoke up about what they believed in and what they wanted in the world, and not just what they believed in, but spent time dreaming of the future and imagining a future that they want to live in. What does that look like? And to leave out what you think is happening right now, because the truth is, information is so scattered right now. The algorithm is part of the warfare. The reason I see all the opposite things that, for instance, my mom is seeing, right? That's part of it. This is a big part of it, is to skew the narrative, and so that the actual happenings and goings on in the world we are unable to access, and we fall into a sense of hopelessness. Well, that's not what we're doing with Mars in the sign of Aquarius. Now we're taking this energy that we have been building up in this deep sorrow, and we're using it to seek beauty, to imagine beauty, and then to fight for it energetically. Like, anger is love that says, I deserve better. Anger is love that says, we deserve better. This deserves better. This, we can be better, and we have to be. So I just went on a little thing there. But with that base energy being associated with the root chakra, being associated with red, Mars is associated with Aries, which is the sign of I am, like the sign of the self. Like, this is what I am and this is what I know. And it's very like forward about it. So I find that interesting with that little red dot in the middle of this tree and this root, because this is the sacred, you know, Martian energy, where it's like we will fight for what the beauty that we want this world to be, and we know it can be, and we know it is. So okay. Oh, interesting. I said earlier, where there's smoke, there's fire, and the card I just drew was smoke. And I was thinking about that a lot today, like how much people still defend certain things. And again, I am not on a side, other than I'm a side for sense and goodness and humanity and justice and equity and structure, yes, but fairness also. And anyway, I just find it interesting that there's so much smoke and people are still like, you know, that quote, there's smoke, there's fire, but people just want to be, there's no smoke. You're just making that up, even though it's like right in our faces and it's just so fragrant, like that bacon. It's like, this is boiling over and it's burning. It's starting to burn. Like we could smell it forever ago, but now it's starting to burn. And there's only one thing we can do about that. And it's to turn to these big bodies of water, like the river and the ocean, of our deep emotions to put this out, to fight this fire. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have enough space right now. Where is everything? I'm going to get into this next oracle. This is my oracle deck that I made. Well, it's a prototype. Again, I don't know how to speak recently. For me, I feel like this Pluto Mercury conjunction has felt a lot like Mercury retrograde in some ways. I feel like I cannot speak or get my thoughts across. Like I know I have them in there, I just don't know how to express anything. But again, I'm not doing the speaking here. We're letting the cards do the speaking. So yeah, I'm just gonna draw a few from here. So this represents timelessness or eternity. Infinity is like, you know, infinity in and of itself isn't a thing. It's everything, which is also nothing and is also everything. And this is where time and space slows down to nothing or speeds up to nothing. And this infinity symbol is so recursive, right? It's where it loops back over itself and repeats its pattern over and over and over again. So this timelessness, eternity. I've been thinking a lot about how we repeat patterns as a collective. Like, is there ever going to be a way for us to evolve out of this primitive nature of, you know, war and physically harming each other and physically ruining things for us to get what we need, even though we don't need to be in survival mode? We have plenty, we can make this work, but we haven't evolved out of this state yet. And so I often think, you know, that's like a time thing. We keep seeing this recursive pattern, just like with this infinity. But in reality, there is, like, at a quantum level, there is no time. Everything happens all at once. So it's like, is this a collective memory that is really just like a crystalline pattern in time and space? And can we change this crystalline pattern to be something it's not, right? Like to be something other than this pattern where we destroy ourselves and one another in the process of getting what we think we want, having detached and separated ourselves from everything else, when we literally cannot do that. And on a quantum level, we truly are all interconnected. Allegedly, but I believe it. Okay, here we have resonance. This is where two or more, but two wavelengths meet at a meeting point and interact. The first thing that comes to mind is all the different perspectives that we've seen in the world that have created this division. It feels like more than ever, especially thanks, I think, to the internet and thanks to being able to talk to each other instantly and also understand our past and really actually see the patterns. If you're actually willing to acknowledge them, we are able to differentiate and understand what we're seeing. And more people from, like, in the past would have been considered opposing sides, and I guess still are coming together in these meeting points. And we're like, oh, actually, we can agree on this. Oh, actually, this is happening. Oh, we both see this. There's like a narrative coming out of this pattern. And maybe this applies relationally, okay? This energy could all be happening in your life on a relational level. Okay, this represents gravity. Again, this is a prototype and I need to go and write all the things and do a little booklet and everything, but this represents gravity. So, gravity is, as described in this deck particularly that I'm working on, is like, you know, there are these two opposing forces. You've got the pro force, which pushes out and outward, and then the con force, which pulls in. And you can see both of that depicted in this, but like there's like a slight imbalance in these two at all times. That's why they can both exist. They don't cancel each other out because they don't, because they exist in this imbalance, but a perfect imbalance. Anyway, the con pulling in energy is grounding us. The con pulling energy is where we pause and are able to incubate, right? Because the pro energy is like us expanding and seeing new things and new sights, okay? The con energy is where we come in and we incubate and we are able to form new thoughts and ideas and imagine a future that eventually we can go back out and spread. But for now, this energy is very, very con-based. And that's what I call them in this deck. So you probably won't hear that in other places. I don't know if I should use these cards until I have this deck out. But no, I'm just going to do it. You get it. You have that pulling in energy. So, you know, this is a time in history for incubation. I'm thinking of nebulae as well, where like a bunch of matter comes together and it's like this attractive force that brings all this matter together, and that's what gives birth to stars and stellar nebula. And it's not like it's a wild, like, imagining the birth of the star does not feel to me like, I can't tell if it's like a burst, it just bursts into life, or if it's something just clicks on one day, or if it's a slow gradual build. And that's what it feels more like to me, and I think that that's actually probably how it goes. I just can't remember at the moment. That just feels like the truth. But this gravity is building and is really collecting these new ideas and perspectives, and we're coming together under this influence. And to finish this little reading out, I'm just gonna do a card from this tarot deck. Okay, so we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. Actually, it's been a minute since I've worked with tarot. I love this little booklet. I'm gonna see what the booklet has to say about it. Eight of Wands in reverse. Reversed, you may be resisting change, trying to stop the flow of energy and movement. This will only make things harder, so let go and be in the flow. If you have been feeling stuck, do things differently. New routines, locations, activities, and get the energy moving again. Well, this energy in this sign with all these other planets is with Mars being in Aquarius now is new making energy. It's the ideation energy. It's the flow energy. And I've been thinking a lot about this can apply to your relationships and your like work life and stuff as well, but I have realized so much in the past few years that some people, like, they do not want to know the truth if it's uncomfortable, and I totally understand that. It can be a lot to handle. Everything that's happening right now is a lot to handle. Even admitting things to yourself about your own self or about your relationships can be hard to face. But I'm a person who, I value the truth pretty much more than anything, because I don't want to live in something that's not real. I want to understand what's happening so I can do something about it, so I can really have a grip on reality and be grounded. And so, there comes a point if something gets intense enough that you can't not look at it. And unfortunately, it gets more and more intense when we don't look at it, right? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's like Carl Jung's facing the shadow of it. You don't face it, it kind of just festers and becomes something really, really difficult and hard to deal with. And so what we need to do is we have to constantly have that energy moving to be in good health, right? And that's not to say that you shouldn't take care of yourself. We all have our limits and we all have our lanes, right? So it's like our capacities are all very different. I don't expect people to be on the same level as where I am with keeping up with certain things or wanting to talk about certain things. I try to respect those boundaries. But when I see people who really cannot even face the moment, when it's been the moment for a minute, for like a while, and it's really, really hurting people, and we are in the direct line of impact as well, it's like, that's not living in reality. And I'm thinking also about how earlier this year, for like 3 years, the past 3 years, I had the worst hip pain. I couldn't move from my bed to the bathroom without being in so much pain in my hips. And I thought that it was because of the stressful situation I was going through and I just couldn't talk about. But then I was like, there's no way the body keeps the score like that much. But then things got to a boiling point. I had to face it. I had to tell people about it. And when I told a specific person about the things that had been going on that was stressing me out, basically faced my fear, my hip pain went away completely. Like the next day, went away. I was like limping around for 3 years, and then all of a sudden I could like move again. And so it's this idea of like this energy being trapped inside of me, not moving, and not just not moving, like certain things. There are certain things that I knew I needed to do or knew I needed to see, but I didn't want to see them that way. I didn't want that to be true. And I was like, well, I don't have all the evidence and I don't have all of this, even though I had a lot of evidence and I had a lot of this and that. But I didn't want that to be the case. And so it really actually physically impacted me, which is also really interesting, being, the I am energy connected to this throat chakra energy. It's time to speak, time to move that energy. And part of moving that energy so much of the time, it's not, it can and very much is about moving your body a lot of the time. That helps move intense energy inside you with whatever you're going through. But it also is very, very much in the mind and in our words, like speaking and communicating, expression of that energy, to let it out of yourself, to allow the energy to move is to move. I don't know, to allow yourself to move, because we are constantly dealing with the influx of energies, whether that's good energy or harder energy that's more difficult, that gets stuck. If energy gets stuck, that's where pain and where other stuckness comes out of, right? And so I feel like there's not just collectively this giant stuckness that we're all under and trying to move our way out of. And hopefully we do before it gets so intense, right? But this can also be so applicable to us in our everyday lives. And we all need to, actually, with what's happening collectively, we individually have to take care of that collective energy as well within our own bodies, because we are dealing with it. We're all carrying this weight together, especially if you're paying attention on any level, which I recommend everyone does. This is the only way we, take care of this and get out of this. And that actually brings me to my last little thing for the day. There's this quote I came across today by James Baldwin. It says, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." And so I find that that's a very powerful quote to be living by and thinking about today as Mars moves into Aquarius and as things heat up even more. I don't think it's really going to slow down. And the way that things used to be, it's not going to go back to the way that things used to be. There's a new world and we're building it. And so in order to build it, we have to face it. We have to imagine. And that can be a fun thing too. We have to seek this Venusian beauty paired with this Martian energy of like, we must build, we must fight for what is right, we must fight for what is just and good. To spend this energy on ourselves and on each other, right? This empathetic thing that we do is it's not just a human thing, but it is what has allowed us to evolve to the point that we are, and it's created the world. We live as collective beings and we take care of each other. That's part of it. And so, unfortunately, so is the opposite for some reason. But is there a way out of it? I don't know. Tune in another time to talk about it, probably tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow. I'll be doing this again. So thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that's all for today.